used to be on that amazing Griffin roster in 2019 that we thought would go so much further, but IG stopped them to eventually go and win the World Championship. It's story galore with Anyone's Legend versus Hanwha Live, our first best of 3, our first quarterfinal. It's still a knockout stage. It is single elimination. The loser of this will have their key crushed. The winner moves to a semi-final to verse T1M Koi, whoever comes out of that series alive as well.
I mean, I feel like we got a lot of good quarterfinals ahead of us, but
we do.
You know, I'm kind of locked in on this one. This one really felt like it was set up to be.
We're going to cast it together. It's like 3 hours together. I don't want you locked in on something else. It's like, you know, like I'm your wife or something. You're looking at someone else.
Even before I knew I was going to be casting with you know, I was like, that one looks like a banger.
Well, this could be the dingo of the series today as well.
Thanks for that one.
Like a really cool dog, you know?
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't watch yesterday, you're out in the wilderness right now. That's okay, I'll bring you back in. Listen here. We're looking towards how mid-jungle operates. And also, I know Hanwha Life got a bit of scaling in this comp as well, but it's a self-sufficient 80 carry. It's about snowballing here for AL. Bit faster of a comp, you think? How are we operating?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the game is like cooked. The thing is, I feel like the poke virus in this situation, you know, has a lot of value into like the Zaya and the Azir. I feel like that long-range poke can have a lot of power. I do feel like some of the picks you want to have a lead with, like the Aurora and the Virus, can feel a bit underwhelming when they're behind. But I don't think it's like as desperate. It's like some of the games we've had this tournament being like you're against the Senna, and it's like if you don't do something early, it's just cooked.
Yeah.
But
not cut and dry. That's nice.
Yeah, I do want to see what Shanks can do because he had such a good performance at MSI.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you know, expectation coming into the tournament with so many stacked names, you know, your Chovies, Fakers, your Knights. A lot of people were very impressed with Shanks' performance, and a lot of people saying he was the best performing mid of the tournament. And now with this player into Azir matchup, has the chance to really take over the game.
Zach is kiting well though in the Unraveled Earth, flying astray a little bit. Peanut is quite behind towards that mid lane. Behind meaning he's just moving up towards the top side, out of vision. Shanks doesn't have a deep ward here towards Raptors, so jungler's just going to be shipped in the night. And defensive ward's actually set up from Hanwha Life to make sure that this Sin isn't getting in and trying to clear Peanut's camp before him.
Yeah, and this is one of the concerns, is that you end up in a situation where, you know, the poke virus bot lane with Rakan and Alistair, Talia mid, Aurora into Rumble, a lot of priority across the board for AG.AL right now. Nothing that Tarzan is really able to make use of it yet, but put you in an uncomfortable position if you're dealing with pushing lanes on the opposite side across the board.
Oh yes. Now quick spoon feed for everyone out there if you're wondering why AG.AL. Now all gamers, you know, currently got onto the team just as we started EWC. So instead of Anyone's Legend, as you would have been used to, or AL, as the people who knew them thought they were cool, it's now changed to AG.AL. And a new logo by the looks of it as well, which is kind of cool. It's like a shield, but I hope we don't lose the panda forever.
Well, they had the pandas when they came on stage. They had the little push pandas.
I saw that, yeah, but here the logo is different, so I hope, again...
The logo also has a little panda on it, if you look closely.
Hang on.
I don't think you can see it from here, but it does. Trust me on this.
Okay, trust orcs, guys. Actually, no one trusts you. Why would anyone trust you?
Everyone's leaning in right now.
Everyone's like, hang on, I can't see it. Did you just punk us? Is it actually? I just looked at it. I can't see it. It doesn't, does it? If you look really close, everyone's got their head on the screen like, I don't see it. Keep looking, guys. Update me if you find it. Shank's getting poked out a bit now. Zek is doing pretty well in this lane. I think he's kited around the Unraveled Earth pretty nicely, but again, all it takes is burst like that. And Shanks, even after the Unraveled Earth circle, he's just going to throw a single rock out. One hits, one does not. Let's take a look towards top, because Viper's already making his move. 4 minutes 30, and lane swap begins. Zeus on a ward, spotted out, cancelled. Splinter has a slow pushing wave.
Yeah, I think, especially with how the lanes have been going early on, the sooner HLE can break up these lanes and get the swap in, the better. Other than Zeku, who's actually been having a great time in the mid lane matchup.
Yeah.
But sort of switching Viper up the top side and changing things up, definitely favorable. But you can see already by the CS leads in the AD carry and top role that AG.AL already forming a little bit of a lead. Still early days, not too significant yet, but those advantages showing up so far.
AG.AL's hovering around mid, looking to get some information. Gleaming Quill will spot out Peanut.
I think he was just trying to stop Zeka's recall for as long as possible, being a little bit annoying. There's a lot of supports who will do that and just harass you whenever you're trying to recall.
True.
And Rakan's so good at it because it's so hard to actually punish him for it. A lot of supports die trying to stop enemy recalls, but
yes, so many escapes.
Yeah, the best is when they have Ignite and they just do the walk up and ignite you.
Oh yeah, the Chad move.
The classic.
Unsealed Spellbook, very possible in this game.
Yeah, sadly just don't have Ignite as much anymore with all the heal being taken, but yeah, the Unsealed Spellbook gives that potential back.
That does mean double smite for both teams again. Something we did see quite a lot at MSI. Like the Bards always taking it as AG.AL going to start up Dragon now. This is widely uncontested. Peanut just walking down. Delight, however, was all the way up in top. So in this lane mismatch, naturally AG.AL have priority here until Seismic Shove comes through onto Zeka. The walk down, it's not going down that quick. Peanut wants to fight. And then teleporting in, it's going to be a full contest, but it's smited by anyone's legend, but shoved back in. It's easy from Zeka. With Zayas burning down as well on a double flash, it's going to be matched. Zayas gets over the wall and says howdly doodly, but Shanks, as he gets burned to the side, he's just trying to survive. Helped out from KL. Shanks sends the rocks out, survives for now. Now Delight has run out of damage. Blandre joining in. The 6 did wonders, and while the 80 carry in top stayed there, Viper missed out on the action, and AG.AL complete.
Yeah, the extra TP, the extra man for AG.AL gives them the advantage. I think HLE feeling confident because they had the Empress Divide, the Equalizer available, thought that's going to be enough to win the fight, but the Summoners come out from AG.AL that gets them out of the fight, and sure, Viper gets some free farm in the top lane, but in return, Hope is now 2-0-1 on this Varus, and they'll definitely take that advantage.
Zeka had a nice shove. I'm sure we're going to get a replay in a second, but that was all over the place. Teleport being channeled. I want to see who was first. It was AG.AL who channeled the TP first.
Yeah, so we end up getting the ult comes in, the Equalizer, but it's kind of a shove off it, so it's not a huge amount of value.
Yeah.
And then all these flashes to follow. But Zeus' cooldown's a little bit late. It gets a bit split. Peanut goes down. We don't get this kill onto Shanks, who gets another rotation of spells. And Delight kind of has to commit so deep to finish off the Rakan, so very scrappy fight, and it was kind of one of these things where they'd already committed, so when the TP was coming in, there wasn't really a way to get out again.
Yep.
And again, Viper was just in the top lane farming. I think HLE had a lot of confidence in those ults carrying them through, but realistically, the Equalizer just didn't get that much value.
True. I should correct myself, only one TP channeled in that fight. Obviously, Zeus was down bot with the lane swap, where they were mismatching, so his Equalizer didn't get much value. Blandre picked up a kill from that trade as well. Outside of that, it was only Delight to pick up the second kill for HLE. Small gold lead for AG.AL. As quick note as well, that dragon, it did go down. Orcs, I'm looking up. It's Infernal. Sorry, I had to look for the logo. The Infernal Dragon
that's
did start off.
usually how you work out what dragon.
I know, but
it has a little fire symbol.
Yeah, but I'm used to the color of it. It's like a white symbol here. So I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're used to something. It's like the overlay at MSI and EWC being different. And you look at it and like, oh, it's very different as grubs are going to start off. Pause on that thought. Yeah, I do. Like an old man. One grub taken. Second, waiting for the smite here. Tarzan gets it. Trying to disengage his Peanut. Now with a pillar up, but the light is too far from the engage. Zeka has his wall up, but doesn't want to commit. So 2-for-1 grubs is special.
And the thing is, AG.AL there, there's no real reason for them to overstay when they've already got those two grubs. I'll give one over to HLE. They've already got the advantage. We'll back off on that play. But again, game's still very close at this point. You can see feats of strength though built up pretty heavily in favor of anyone's legend right now. One away in terms of objectives from securing that. Zeka playing very aggressively on this Azir. Kind of has been all game. And he is the only person with an advantage on HLE, apart from Delight, who got that kill earlier, and he's now looking for a play.
Blandre, yes, between worlds, so pops him under turret. Look how thin the minion wave is. Delight still in his ulti, looking for his trample. He's going to run out shortly as the Featherstorm will fly. HLE, that two-man dive, pulls out an ulti, gets some damage, but in the end, 2 ultis for 1 is the trade.
Such a hard champion to dive. I feel like it was a little bit ambitious to go for, you know, and in the end, you're trading both of your ultimates for the ultimate of the Aurora. You do chunk Blandre out, but I mean, they went for it. They didn't exactly lose. They didn't die for it. They didn't burn any summoners massively. And it's just a trade of ultimates. But yeah, a hard one to try and pull off there. even though Viper did get a good amount of damage down with his ultimate. It's now a minute until that next dragon. You can see supports down in the bot side of the map starting to get a little bit set up in the area. And it will pick up that Scuttle Crab. And already Ghostblade completed for Hope.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Varus kind of in a pretty great spot. And this is kind of the problem with the Xayah, is that the Varus, when you're playing for mid priority at this sort of point of the game, setting up these waves, the Varus can just poke you out.
True. How do you step up?
Yeah. I mean, at least with the Essence Wave, you can kind of just play a little bit like caster Xayah, because you know you have infinite mana. You can just spam your abilities to clear the waves a bit, like Viper's been doing there. But you're still going to take poke, right? And you get whittled down, and eventually you're too low, so you can't fight, which obviously isn't ideal.
It seems also very easy to pull out Xayah ulti in this game as well, right? Like, there's a lot of tools. Like, everyone has some kind of lockdown or CC that can pull out the feathers to fly.
I mean, some of them are, you know, like Xin Zhao and Rakan at least have to get close with it.
Yeah.
Seismic Shove's pretty telegraphed. The Varus ult's pretty telegraphed. And the Viper's pretty good at kind of responding, so...
Yeah, I'd expect it to be good.
We've got a good amount of value now.
Viper's not the problem, yeah. Okay.
Anyone's Legend have started this up. Oh, Peanut could be in some trouble.
He's chunked out before. Wait for the subjugation, though. That might bring the fight back. You said TP. It's a double. On the back is Flandre coming in, and he's got his ulti back up. The shove sent back from Zeka. AG.AL re-engaged with the quickness, and the Between Worlds clears HLE. As Dragon goes down, Flandre with an auto is now cornered out, but he's going to go into the weirding. Buy time and Shank zones for him while the feathers are going to fly on the left side of the fight, but Hope is now on the left as well. Shank sent the wall out, a double feather pull. Viper somehow brings it back. Zayas cooking them, but there's not enough damage yet. Viper now too far forward with nothing but his cleanse, but it won't save him there. A double kill over an AL spring to life.
Oh, now looking for more?
And there's a chomp as well, shut down. Okay, Peanut gets one. TP, they wanted a little bit more. Maybe Zeka thought we can go again.
Yeah, not really going to find anything on the back of this. Dragon goes over to Anyone's Legend there, and the fight advantage as well, but a little bit of an answer back. It's Hope, though, who's the main beneficiary of that 4-0-1 now on this Varus, able to clean up those kills. And think AG.AL here able to find Zeka. Really great play. So initially, they look for the Azir, get the ult, and then he re-engages, catches him after the ult's down. So immediately Azir's gone. Peter gets chunked. Zeus looks for Flandre, but kind of gets juked by him here, so doesn't have the follow-up damage. I gotta say, Viper's doing everything he can in this situation. Manages to get a huge Blade Caller on these two. That's the only reason the fight wasn't completely doomed, but even he can't do enough because Hope is just charging forwards, cleaning up kills in this fight.
As you said, the Yeomans did work for him earlier. It's doing work for him again. Backing on a ward here, though. This is how Peanut gets the shutdown to light with no HP. It's a clean return kill, but then they lose Zeka's TP after the fact as well. Tabi looks concentrated, locked in there.
3 for 2, so not a huge advantage, but the Dragon secured. It's the objective they wanted.
Yeah.
And if Flandre hadn't recalled on that ward, it would have been even more favored towards Anyone's Legend. It's still in a huge gold lead. They do get the feats of strength. They do have the 2 Dragon leads, so definitely a big edge for AL. But I think the main thing is not so much, because again, it's not a big team gold lead, but it's where the gold is. It's Hope having a 1,500 gold lead over Viper. It's the fact that...
Seismic Shove, as well as Weaver's Warp. Both are now out. Or rather, it's the Emperor's Divide, excuse me. Shanks is half HP, but he's just going to disengage.
That was... Oh, you missed a cannon. That was a pure solo play.
Good one. Okay, Shove. But yeah, that's just it. Zeka has no one nearby. Is coming down. Maybe AG.AL was looking to help out. Quickness going to be burned out. And there you go. A couple of ultis down now across the board. And Herald's up in 1 minute.
I feel like both these teams just being so aggressive. You know, Zeka just trying to force onto Shanks with no backup, no other players. Normally you see a play like that, you know, we pan down to it. I'm immediately looking at the map. Who's there? No one was there. He just wanted to see if he could find something. And then the like forcing the ult from his lane opponent with some backup from Viper. Just both teams trying to see if they can get any advantage.
So Zeka's really good at finding roads. Telling me he builds them, he creates them, he crafts them. You know, Shanks is not bad at finding roads either. The difference is you can't do it on his ear. Just looking at me playing the orc. Been building roads, been looking at who builds roads in League of Legends these days.
I mean, they can build walls.
Yeah, I'm not asking about a wall, I'm asking about roads, don't worry.
You've lost me.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, mate. I was told by Atlas that I need to be a lot stricter with you today.
Yeah.
Apparently, I let you walk a bit yesterday.
Yeah, getting a little bit off rails.
Well, no, yesterday the off rails wasn't the point, but you know, I think you were mean to me. I think that's what he said, and that was the problem.
Yeah, I do that specifically to you.
And today I'm gonna get you to study bloody roads, mate, because I tell you what. I'm seeing Zekka in this game. I'm seeing one item, and I'm thinking maybe he can build. Failed to use quickness. That's going to be up and available, though. Short cooldown is a 15.5-minute mark. That Herald's up. Dragon's up in 110, so this time is going to correspond. Third Dragon for AL, something that HLE probably have to contest for, because it is a Mountain Soul coming up, and extra bonus stats to stop some of the all-in from HLE. It's quite nice for AL to play through game one.
Yep. And I think, especially a Mountain Soul in a game like this, you're already struggling to deal with this virus. That extra level of safety would make such a big difference. Herald being started.
Exhaust down. That's unsealed spellbook.
Yeah.
But nothing to swap through for KO yet, so he has no flash. Herald's pulled out maximum. Eye exposed. Zeus is coming in. Hope wants to zone this. He gets Chains of Corruption down. It's a beautiful stun. Herald taken down, and Smooth Criminals. HLE just walk out with a bit of poke on their backside.
Just so hard to approach, you know. They're wanting to look for an angle, they want to try and challenge, but the poke from Hope is so significant, even this early on. No one's that tanky, and he has such a lead over pretty much everyone in terms of gold.
Another cannon. Wait, boy, there's the zoom in we're asking for, isn't it?
Now looking towards this Dragon that spawned up, a bit more control in favor of HLE in the area for now. The Herald gonna get thrown down mid. It's gonna force some sort of response. TP coming in as well. AL definitely putting the focus down here. You see the recoil coming in from there as well.
Very nice. Okay, Pillar in the way. Easy for Peanut. Starts to shove on Delight. They're drawing out the Unbreakable Will, but they haven't found it yet. Herald is going to drop down before the charge. That Pillar interaction annoying. TP flank though. HLE looking for an angle to bring this game back in. For game one, the opening of the series, it's Zeus who pokes out Tarzan, and HLE converge. He jumps, he flashes, takes the blast cone. Nice escape from Tarzan, but it doesn't end there. HLE have been poked out by Hope, and this third Dragon continues to be a look.
I think AL on in a rush. Just let Hope get the poke down. More poke on into Light. Zekka's already half HP. Tarzan will go onto the Dragon so he can stack up his knock-up.
Thanks. It's about his Weaver's Wall as well. It's going to come in. Peanuts on the wrong side of it. All right, we'll see. Equalizer down. There's the quickness again from Kyle, but Peanuts still not dead at 3.5k. The Between Worlds hits 4 people. Flandre, he's exhausted, but he's done the damage. The Redemption comes down to Light. Gets backline engaged, but it's third Dragon over to Anyone's Legend as Tarzan destroys the enemy jungler. Running through, it's Peanut rather, who ends up dying, but Zeus tagged out. Viper as well. Tarzan will clear them for a triple, and Anyone's Legend have taken game one.
Such a good fight from Anyone's Legend. They're able to get the Dragon, able to play it patiently, have the cleanup, the value that Flandre got there with the AoE, and it just forced them into this position where they had to try and go in. See Delight here, the latter end of the fight. So firstly, we get the Weaver's Wall comes in, Peanut's trapped in there, he ends up having to ult just to survive. The Equalizer doesn't get much value, just kind of cuts them off. And eventually Delight goes for this play onto the Varus, and Zeus is there to try and clean up, but the peel comes in immediately. You know, Viper's getting a lot of damage down, the shuffle is okay, but they're not able to finish off these targets. And they're just so slippery, and Tarzan getting the Wind Become Lightning onto Viper, shutting him down, cleaning up the fight. Just some excellent team fighting from the LPL's #1 seed.
Top lane is alike as well. Now I did say, feels like AL taking game one. It's not happened yet, but 4k gold lead. A major fight, first major fight of the game, really. And with that gold lead also comes solve point, 3 minutes 45. Artican's up in 55 seconds, and I see a 2-item Varus. I see a 2-item Talia just about as well, and I'm alive. Again, this is what AL are so good at doing, is forcing their opponent into these fights. They're very good at 5v5s, at trying to hand stiff, and I'm alive have hands. It feels like the setup in this game for AL.
I think just the Varus score is causing so many issues.
So much easier to execute, hey? He just keeps poking them down.
Just keeps poking, and it puts a timer on your setup where like you have to start the fight sooner rather than later. It makes you desperate. And then when you finally force the engage, everyone's already lower. And you have so many tools that just cause issues, like the Unraveled Earth comes out, the ultimate from the Aurora comes out as well, just so much AoE damage. And then the cleanup is just there. And HLE really struggling, finding their way in this one. And the thing is, there's now just there isn't that pressure. There's Arakan coming up in a couple of seconds. It's on the boss side of the map as well. There's Dragon up in 3 minutes. AL can just maintain control of bot side. They're in no rush, though. They don't need to start Arakan. If they get a window, sure, they should. But if they maintain control there, then in 2.5 minutes when Dragon's up, they can just take the soul. If ever there's a point where HLE overstep or someone takes too much poke, that's a signal to start up the objective. Oh, they're just going to desperation start it.
You are a little bit tilted from this one, Orcs. It's 4 on Arakan.
You know what?
Worried.
It's a best of 3. The game's looking dire. Just send it, you know? Do I think this is going to work? Probably not, but why not?
Teleport's going to be committed. It's double TP again. We're 5v5ing. Flandre from bot. Zeka from the top of it. At 7k, you need the auto attack from the Azir. The Weaver's Wall, those zones him off. At 6.5, it's still going down, but HLE are pulling off as Delight pulls the Unbreakable Will. Seismic Shove, the cow is in as Equalizer down, does a little bit. Shanks gets poked, Kale gets poked, but in. Zeka gets destroyed again. Flander's ulti have been superb. Even the Arakan is taken by a Rakan. Anyone sledging got one more chase in him. On to Viper. Tarzan says, hello, old friend. Wind becomes lightning, and Viper becomes dead.
Yeah, and that might be the nail in the coffin. AL, very patient. You know, the shred from the Arakan comes in, the poke is there, and they just execute so cleanly. The smite actually came in from Kael there, able to get the Arakan buff for himself.
Sealed spellbook, baby.
Unsealed spellbook, yeah. And, you know, this is one of these plays where, look, the game was pretty doomed.
Yeah.
HLE were like, let's just flip Arakan. If we get it, we might have some hope. If we don't, did we really change the outcome? Probably not. And I feel like their minds right now looking towards
TP?
Looking towards a TP. Actually, I was going to say game 2, but apparently not. Not yet.
Can weird out somewhere, can't he? But he's just going to walk up, get the shutdown. Shutdown to Zeka does feel nice, all game considered, but...
Yeah, it's 50 seconds until Dragon. I don't think that shutdown's really going to change things drastically right now.
Yeah.
We'll see the replay. So the thing is, resistance is getting shredded when you're in the Arakan pit, and especially against like a lethality champion, it just makes it so much scarier. The wall comes in, which doesn't have like huge value, but like think about the light gets shredded even through the ult. He takes so much damage, and then Zeka's a little bit split here and just gets jumped on and deleted. You know, Viper has to ult just to survive. The front line gets shredded, and it's just so quickly over. Viper does what he can to survive, but not really many options in this situation.
It was a 4-man smite fight. The light didn't get a smite in the end. And again, yeah, it was Rakan, it was KL who took the smite and got the Arakan. Now, game 1 looks all but secure, but for HLE, their last stand here in this first game at the very least to stop Dragon Soul. It needs a miracle. They need Zeka with a shove, but the Weaver's Wall begins us off. Seismic Shove comes through, Peanut dodges away, but Between Worlds set up with KL is beautiful. Now Mountain Soul easily smoked it down. Delight's Unbreakable Will hangs in the balance, but Viper can't save his support. All from anyone's legend are in. They're all gamers, they're all legends, and that's all you need to know for a successful game 1. Zeus and Viper get out, but the game is all but done. Chilling Smite for the follow-up. Tarzan, he cares not. He'll ulti out, and Viper will be the last to go. Again, AL sink in their fangs.
And that's game 1 going to be over. Should be able to end off the back of this. AL with a dominant start to this series. A best of 3 as well, so they'll put them on match point very quickly off the rip. And I think leaving the Varus open, they're going to regret that one. Obviously won't be played for the rest of the game. Actually won't be able to end just now, but I feel like the game is as good as done from this point.
You're right, this is 12k gold lead, and we might even be able to approach near the 20k mark as well if it keeps happening the way it is. Baron's up in 1 minute, that'll help close the game, but it's replay time because around this Dragon, this did feel like I'm Alive are just trying to send it.
Yeah, I mean, Zeka ends up getting just clumped together. The Rakan value is so high here for Kel. And I just don't see any angles to fight for this position anymore. It just feels like cleanups from AL. Find a target, see a target, kill a target. That simple.
Tarzan doesn't even stop there. Ends up being an ace. And Tarzan, I mean, he's had a great game again. Anything that gives him agency, looks like that's why Tarzan is the best jungler in LPL when there's all these big movements being made, you know, going from Shun to Wei to Page 1 for BLG now. You know, Top Esports not making MSI. It was like Tarzan, uncontested, As Delight pops his ulti again, you're finding out why. Now there is a pop over the wall. Hope is caught out. This Varus does a bit of damage, but he's shut down. AG.AL goes in with the quickness, and for Hanwha Life, maybe an advantage that they never knew they'd find, but Flandre destroys Zeka before he gets to interact with the game. His flash still up, but now he's body dead as AG.AL gets back line again. Viper caught between the worlds, and Peanut as he charges out had no chance to begin with. Even with a catch on Hope, it's still not enough for Hanwha Life in game one.
Yep, not enough with how fed the other members are. They are just going to push through. Don't think Zayat's going to be able to do enough on his own, especially without the equalizer, looking towards game 2 on the back of this push.
As you said, the Varus is a big regret, but for Hanwha Life, a 25-minute loss, count at 26. The Weaver's walls, Ayers can't get anywhere near to stop it. The death time is that short, because this game hasn't even started. I mean, we normally stop at 30, but 25 minutes in a best-of-3 in quarterfinals, that's domination from AL.
Completely, you know, it felt like there wasn't really a point in the game where HLE were in control. The early skirmishes went in favor of AL.
Not because he wanted to, but because he has to. It's an obligation for him to cast with me. So he's trying to make the best of it.
I can slide a little bit further away, though.
You can if you want.
But I didn't.
He chose not to.
I hope that means something.
To me, yes. To everyone out there, probably not. The keys are in the sky.
Yeah, I do think, you know, the matchup, I think it can be a bit rough for the Yone into the Akali. I think the Ahri is going to have a much more stable time. You know, it can be hard to really get the jump on the Ahri with the amount of mobility you have when you hit level 6, but also just like the charm as a defensive tool.
The Faker skin. Respect.
You know what's funny? This was actually talked about in the LCK.
Yeah.
When we had a lot of Ahri being played, every player in the league, apart from one, used the Faker skin.
And it's Faker who didn't use it because he used skins. I think someone said he played it once. It's probably on release. I don't know when. I don't know if you have context on that, but he never plays skins. And that's that is GOAT behavior. As, oh my God, the giant panda.
Oh my God.
Oh, there it is, Orcs. There it is. We've been looking in the logo in the wrong place. That's cool. There's nothing in the eyes, though. It kind of looks scary. Like,
you know what? That's a throwback. Do you remember the panda costume incident?
Panda, as in Panda C, the player?
No, it was in the LPL. It was when I thought AL would make playoffs, and I said, if they don't make playoffs, I'll cast the first playoff game in the panda costume.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't make playoffs, so that's what happened.
I've got that saved somewhere on my computer, actually. If you can't Google Orcs Panda costume chat, you'll have to look at it a different way. DM me, I'll send it to you. It's on my home PC. I've saved it as my desktop.
Wow.
You're next to Odoamne as C-3PO. I got a huge folder.
But I think it goes to show, you know, making bets whether or not they'd make playoffs, and now #1 team in the LPL, how far they've come.
Boy. This is Grass matchup, by the way. Just talk individually about what's going on top. So Grass versus Grass, that's getting real dicey up there, but flash engage, HLE, pull the trigger onto Hope, who goes down to an ignite. Auto attack by Viper, flashes away, but it's matched. First blood over to Delight. Ain't gonna be Vipers, but he's still more to come. With the remount onto AG.AL and the Boomerang player to double on trouble, but the flashing from Tarzan, the redo, and Viper's now down. Tarzan gets a kill, AG.AL gets out. All 8 summoners burn from the bottom lane of AL and HLE.
Yeah, so much action already in this game. I feel like we're looking at the top lane battle going on between Zeus and Flandre, but bot lane even more exciting. Delight starting the fight early on with that all-in and managing to catch out Hope. That aggressive play, beautifully executed. A bit unfortunate that they end up backfiring because of the presence of Tarzan, but just lands everything on Hope, and Hope is like in a position where he's pretty sure he's dead, ends up using the flash, but it forces Viper to trade his in return. And then they think they can find another kill, but Tarzan is there to punish. Just a little bit greedy. And the ricochets that came through on the wave, I wonder if that puts the wave in a bad spot.
Oh, that's a good question.
On the back end.
Observers, I wonder, we've got a slow push in bot, at least from the looks of it, from Viper and Delight.
Yeah, I think it might have slow pushed the wave. So I think Hope is actually going to end up, because look, Viper's actually level 2.
Yeah.
Not even level 3. and Hope is picking up farm and is actually a bit ahead. So I think the ricochet is actually kind of went against HLE's favor.
Ooh.
The wave wasn't in a great spot. So
nice detail, yeah.
in the end of the play, didn't work out too favorably for HLE, despite the good aggression from Delight. That's something he's definitely known for.
It's also Tarzan getting a kill again right last game. Snowball effect on his Zins out. Tarzan was definitely jungle diffing.
Yeah.
I feel like Peanut couldn't really operate much in the fights as Tarzan had so much backline access.
I mean, especially a pick like Pantheon, and I feel like Pantheon's the sort of pick where, you know, especially if you play the game for a long time, you think of like the old Pantheon of how he was like really kind of cheesy but fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
I feel like new Pantheon actually holds his own a lot more in the later stages of the game. But you do kind of need gold for him to function. But like he actually does so much damage if he has a lead.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not going to see it now because HLE are going to dive in the reverse. Hope is going to get bopped up, crash down. Nicely done. Turret shots mean nothing. Delight rooted up for the time being. Couple more autos. Kale needs a bit of a pop, but he won't find it. Peanut cleanly done, and the kill also goes to Viper.
That was beautiful, though. That is the sort of thing you want to see where it's a punish. You take the opportunity when the summoners have been burned. The execution was good as well. Hope was trying to pull away from the tower. Moves back in because he wants them to have tower aggro, but unfortunately not quite enough damage done to be able to finish off the support of HLE.
Boy, all in. Zeka's actually got ulti, though, so he should be fine. Doesn't make it over the wall, but away from Tarzan is the main thing.
Yeah.
Shanks does not have perfect execution yet.
This is the sort of gank where it's very non-committal from Tarzan. It costs very little just to walk in mid.
Yeah.
And you get the ult from Zeka, you relieve a little bit of pressure. Zeka was never dying there, but you force a cooldown. So, you know, Tarzan just getting something done. But you can see the matchup in the mid lane going in favor of Zeka here, having that range versus melee matchup and having the advantage there.
If AL win this tournament, if they win AWC, will you wear a panda costume again? For all of us to see?
You know what? I will.
Okay. I'm happy to reciprocate if, like, you want, you know, for, like, HLE or... I just don't know what I would wear.
If HLE win the tournament, you have to wear, like, an orange costume.
Okay. Like an orange, like the fruit.
Yeah, and you have to lift weights while you're doing it. Because that's, you know, their remote. It's like an orange lift weight.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to like, lift weights in a big orange costume.
All right. Yeah, production can start sorting that out.
I feel like that's a pretty even bet, you know? Because if I said, like, you have to do this if Gen.G won, I feel like that's pretty unfair because they're, like, quite hard to do.
That's right. But HLE right now, you know, in a bit of a dangerous spot. Maybe it's even unfair to set it for AL, but who knows? Gen.G and T1 are in the tournament. AL just got a 5-game series by T1, so I think that is fair. All right, we've made a deal. Whoever the person was in the crowd who has the panda suit, can you please share? Maybe a wash before, I don't know, but we'll get that over to Orcs as soon as possible. We'll have to maybe buy it from them. Still couldn't find that photo Orcs, but that's okay. We'll lock in for a little bit. Peanuts on Dragon. Now, off that bottom side gank, there was a bit of a swap, and the swap was for the bot lane of AL getting out of the 2v2. Viper also has a 400 gold lead, so I understand why, but I think with the back now, you're looking at Hope probably going towards bot, going towards mid for now, just to fish for who's in what lane. But as Peanut picks up this Dragon, he's going to be first Dragon of the game. Over to HLE.
Yep, summoners are back up for AL's bot lane, so a little bit safer on the back of those. We're going to get that first early Dragon from HLE. I feel like they were on the back foot in terms of objectives for a while. We see Shanks matching up into theirs, though, and this is the matchup really that AL wanted. Dekali into that Yone.
It's cinema, isn't it?
It is, but also a little bit uncomfortable, I feel like, for the Yone.
Yep. The
ability to follow when he uses that Unbound Soul.
Charm, flash, immediately under Zeka. Look at the Tangle Bar fall off as well. Zeka ulties, but not in time. Tarzan takes him out in a brisk walk, and that's beautiful from Tarzan again.
Layered CC so good, and you know, Zeka thinks he's got a good trade there onto the enemy support, but baited in beautifully with the chain CC from that stun, the flash W. And no real recourse right now. You can see some pings coming out in the bot lane. Andre, though, hard to see if they could kill him. Maybe if he overextends, but I don't think they're going to find an angle, so it's just 3 grubs for AL on the back of that play.
Also opens up top a bit because a reset comes through in the meantime from Zeus. No TP, has to walk up, so maybe a couple of minions denied.
That's 2 kills now for Tarzan.
It's big, isn't it? As you said, the Pantheon has the goal to kind of escalate this game. I said it earlier, and I think to really drill it into people's heads, like Tarzan is reliable with the lead, I find. That's what makes him such a good jungler. He's moldable. You know, we talked in the past, like LPL junglers, like I think Cast was a great example where Cast was always just what called like a dog to his laners. He would always just follow after, you know, such great players. I think Tarzan is a great player in his own right. He can be the carry, or he can, you know, help Shanks carry, he can help Flandre carry. He's so versatile.
Yeah, I feel like you could have just cut that sentence short and just said Tarzan is reliable.
Yeah, but you know, I wanted people to really know how passionate I was about it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Peanut's the GOAT in that regard as well. Like,
I think Peanut's had some hit or misses, you know, I feel like recently.
Yeah, I mean,
especially in that recent run of, you know, their form not being so hot. I think Peanut has had some matches where he hasn't really shown up. Peanut at his best is obviously still a fantastic player, but it definitely feels like at times he's been better as a facilitator rather than as an individual carry. He has still had some fantastic games, but I mean, a big example, the one I brought up earlier was a Vi game against T1 was a big flub. So,
yeah.
You know, he is on that Wukong. We've seen the Wukong have some high impact games. Hopefully he can get the ball rolling a little bit. Is behind right now compared to Tarzan, but you know, I feel like it's different when it's a jungle matchup. If the enemy jungler's ahead, you don't necessarily have to interact with him.
True.
But do you want to see, especially now he has that ultimate available, see what impact he can find with that.
Looking trades down bot while Zeka all in, perfect execution. Ulti Adam response, Shuriken Flip doesn't connect, and that's 2 down of the ulti from Zeka. Spirit Rush will just be used eventually anyway. Shanks gets over the wall, and yeah, it's ulti for ulti.
Yep. I mean, it's one of these things where you go for the play. If you can land the Shuriken Flip, that's why it becomes really scary for the Ahri. It just ends up being a trade. Pushing for plays, and I feel like that's kind of been the story of this mid lane matchup we saw last game as well. Now, though, Peanut looking bot. Flandre just have ult and flash.
He wants to wave in, but he can't step up as Peanut's coming in. But the biggest question is he killable, right? Because Thornmail first. Flandre is going to reduce healing, and with the armor stacked up, I think they're like, maybe
I don't think
Blade.
he is, because Tarzan has ult. So it's not just the fact that you have to kill him. You have to kill him before the 2-0 Tarzan with Sundered guy shows up. Because if he arrives, you lose that fight. So I think Peanut rethinks whether or not he wants to start that and disengage. And, you know, I was talking before about how you don't necessarily have to interact with the enemy jungler. When it's a Pantheon, maybe you do.
True. You're forced to, right? And say it's a bit of healing up from Van Scepter. Tarzan also rethinking whether he wants to make this dive happen. There's pings going down like, hey, yo, Delight's MIA, and the pings are actually right on where Delight's position was at the time, if you could see it on your minimap.
Yeah, good read. It's just cool to see the sort of, you know, thought process of the players, and they're like, hey, we might put set up play.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you sometimes get moments like this when on paper it looks like nothing's really happening, but you actually see that they were trying to go for something, and then, you know, a bit of information they got sort of spooked them, and opting not to just overcommit and have it backfire. The tempered aggression.
Still hovering in case something happens with Flandre. Flandre 500 stacks, by the way, so that's not bad.
He's going to be very tanky this game.
Oh, yes, he is. And we talked about it in draft, right? The problem was originally there wasn't really much AP damage. Or there wasn't any AP damage.
Yeah,
I mean, with Ahri, are you still worried about that?
I mean, Ahri's not really that great for tank shredder. I mean, it's one of these things where, like, Sion obviously gets super tanky.
Yep.
But I feel like eventually you get to the point where you get, like, armor, like, you get shred, right? You get, like, pen. So, like, there will come a point in the game where you can shred to him, but, like, is that point in the game gonna actually come? Because I think Sion really in the mid game is where he's so strong. Before, like you know, when Viper's 4 or 5 items gets to full build, especially when, you know, AD carries and pro have more economy than like a tank top laner will.
Yep.
When Viper's full build, he will be able to cut through Flandre. It might take some time, but he will cut through him.
Even Zayas in side lanes with Blade and maybe I don't know if he goes Mortal Reminder later as like a 3rd, 4th item. Maybe like
yeah. But in the mid game, that is where it just kind of feels like you have to devote so much time to kill Flandre.
Yep.
It feels impossible. And especially Sion, who just has so much extra free health, is really hard to cut through.
True.
You know, that raw health in the mid game is just such a strong stat.
I've also enjoyed Flandre in a lot of his team fights, both MSI and in the last game as well. Talk about a reliable top laner. Well, no further. So that mid game is going to be punishing, going to be powerful. We'll see what he's heading towards second as HLE are gearing up for the second Dragon. Sitting there watching. Dragons this game a little bit more delayed than you would expect as Peanut picked up the first one, but they've sat on this for a while as Flandre doesn't really have prior, but Tarzan's coming in.
Yeah, we did see Shanks just hit level 11, so this Carly's going to be strong.
Yeah. TP in from Zeka. He doesn't have level 11, so worth a mention. At 2K, Tarzan wants a Q-Smiter, but Kyle comes in, pops the Blossom, dies for it. As a steal in the Ocean Drake is good now for AL. How does the fight look? There's an exhaust onto Shanks who tries to jump in onto Peanut, looking for the 5-point strike, finds it in the end, and jumps back. Smooth criminal. He runs out as the flash away from Hope to get out from the Zeus ulti. Flandre tanking up for now. He's not really that beefy, but he manages to survive with the Pantheon ulti. Jumping over 3, Tarzan has taken the fight into new hands, but again, no one's dying. AL playing on the brim, and Hanwha Life know it. A double over to Hope, he dies. Eventually Shanks jumps in, but it's not enough. AL somehow, some way, found a way to survive on 200 HP every bloody carry.
Such beautiful team fighting from AL there, using their health bars as a resource, the in and out, going in aggressively, but just never too much. So many people escaping with just slithers of health there. And it made all the difference, you know, able to clean up that fight in the end. And we see it starts off with this flank attempt. AG.AL here with the Nico. Does manage to land onto Peanut. Viper does avoid it. But he's instantly targeted. Tarzan does steal the Dragon. And then we see this play. Peanut's chased down upon. Shanks uses the Shuriken flip so he can finish him off and then disengage. And it feels like HLE very much in the back foot. Zeus looks for Hope, but it's a great flash. They do almost finish off Flandre, but the shield comes in and look, because it's a fed Pantheon, he's so confident to go in with his ult, and the ult actually gets a lot of AoE damage here.
Holy. That's like a 600 damage Pantheon ult.
Yeah, and then the E there as well buys so much time, flashes from the charm. This buys space for Hope to go in, who manages to disengage with the barrier X, which does end up going down, but then it buys space for the rest of the team.
Take you off.
And it just feels like, other than Hope going down there, the rest of them just able to shrug it off and survive for so long.
Again, Hope, great flash, good damage, but after that fight, he said it so well, Orcs, they were playing with their health bar as a resource so damn much. And it comes out the back of the fight where Tarzan still has a huge lead in this game, and Akali who picked up a kill, Shanks as well.
It is still close though, and I will say,
it is mega close though.
Viper was pumping damage that fight. He is 3-1. When he starts to get items, this could be a very different fight, because you think about everyone on AL is short range.
Yeah.
This Sivir will get a huge amount of ricochet value, just shredding through targets. And I think as the game goes on, if you can't deal with Viper, he is going to be a problem.
True. I mean, again, as we talk about HLE in this game, note that their Dragon stacking would have provided a better outlet for them to get some of those fights. For Viper to have them all in one spot. Dragon a little bit delayed now because of the take from AL, as Herald is now the thought process, but Viper's going to look for push mid. It is movement from Peanut to walk up towards this top side of the map, as Herald hasn't really started yet.
Yeah, I also think this is a game where it's very difficult to push the pace forwards for AL because you're into a Sivir with so much wave clear, and you are a short range comp.
Yeah.
It can be quite tricky to see.
Really
so
good point.
A lot of focus is going to be on these neutral objectives, because often that is kind of the modern game of League of Legends, where these neutral objectives force fights, force the pace of the game forwards. So, you know, AL need to be crisper around these objectives and also using them to push the pace forward. So right now they're in a good spot, 1,000 gold lead, right? A lot of that is on this Pantheon, but Tarzan's been having a phenomenal performance so far.
But he needs to keep the pace up. Next objective is still that Herald. Dragon up in a minute 20 though. Quite interesting, it's already coming back up. 5 minutes goes fast when you're having fun.
I mean, just look at Flandre's health bar, and he just looks... It just does not look fair.
Yeah. With Merc Treads as well. Charm, Shattering Strike. Yeah, it's not really going to do much, is it? So let's see. That Dragon seems to be the next port of call, because Herald's second guess. Tarzan's doing his full clear, probably so that he can get himself maybe that Black Cleaver.
Yeah.
Before they fight next. But we'll have to see, because might end up being an ulti depending on how quickly he clears his wolves.
I mean, it's a Mountain Soul as well, by the way. So.
Yeah. Oi, oi. Do not let AL get Mountain Soul.
Yeah, that would not be a fun time. And it's not even just a Mountain Soul, but like any Mountain Dragons.
Yeah.
It's just going to extend. You know, I talked about how eventually, like, if Viper gets full build, he will be able to cut through Flandre, but it just becomes so much more difficult if he gets those extra resistances.
True.
it kind of puts, it just delays it more and more how many items, because, you know, I said like maybe like 4 items might be it, might push it back to 5. Or might just buy a bit of extra time, like an extra second or two, an extra auto attack can make all the difference.
CP though, hang on.
They are looking.
Yeah, but Flandre, he's delayed. His back just got cancelled again. Every time Zace is cancelling it, so it's going to be a 4v4. But Pop Blossom, after the Herald, draws in Tarzan. He finds a kill onto Peanut, who immediately dies, and he didn't get to pick up the eye. The eye stands there staring at AL. Hope though charmed out. Really nice with the Magna Storm as well. The damage isn't enough. Flash away. Hope is out for now as Viper. He's starting to auto attack with the Flicker Blade. He's feeling more confident. Zace finally teleported in. Tarzan though blocks all the damage. In with a penny, in with a pound. Zeus drops to the ground. Tarzan up next looking for Viper. And he doesn't die, Orcs. His Fed Pantheon is just not dropping.
Even those big charms still not able to find the kills, and I feel like it must be so frustrating for HLE not able to finish off these key targets. They don't get the Herald as well, not able to pick it up there. I think maybe that should be the protocol after they got that first initial burst of damage down. Tarzan's still alive, heads straight over to the Dragon to pick that one up. And I think they're fine with the Herald going down, they're not being the recipients because they got the bigger boon.
It's crazy that, again, that no eye was picked up and the Dragon going over for AL. It's a massive win. It's 2K gold lead. It's replay time again because they thought they had hope. Great charm, great follow-up.
Yeah, it's a good charm, but Tarzan stunning Viper. Stopping the follow-up from him means the Hope's able to survive. And then I think maybe they could have pushed for the Herald, but instead they go for this fight. Zeus lands a big ult. But Tarzan, the Sundered Sky and just the bulkiness he has keeps him alive. They're able to take out Zeus in the back end. Yeah, feels like a tilter.
Oh God, three and a bit K damage.
He's just doing so much.
He really
in these
is.
Fights.
Both games now. The reason he's the driving force of AL. Atakan's up, by the way. Bot side, you see it. But HLE are moving into position. Ward control right now, really heading towards AL. But
you know, last game they did the Hail Mary Atakan. It's not at that point yet.
It kind of helped lose the game for HL. By HLE, excuse me. Won the game for AL, I should have said. As Peanut's still going. They're still tanking this, but AL are slowly moving in.
We'll see what they can do. It's so easy for Pantheon to steal these as well.
And he's going to fly in at 4.5k. Jumps in. Pop Blossom as well. All AoE Paradise at 2.5k. We look towards the Atakan and Tarzan. It's finally charmed over and finally dead. Zeus helped with that one. And he also got them the Atakan. The top laner for HLE comes up clutch. 3 are dead for it. But they got Tarzan. I guess it's an emotional worth.
You know, I honestly think that HLE will take that because that could have been so much worse in this situation. They're able to get the shutdown onto Tarzan, getting that massive amount of gold. They got the Atakan. Yes, they lost 3, but considering how bad the game state was, could have been on the back of them losing a fight there.
Yeah.
I think he'll take it, but that was scrappy. That was not controlled. The Nico ult value here is pretty massive. Catching out both the Light and the Wukong. And Wukong just deleted. And then it's up to Zeus, who manages to focus onto Tarzan here. I didn't actually see who got the kill. It was Viper. That's huge.
1100 gold.
And then Zeus clutching it, grabbing it in the middle of 3, able to pick up the Atakan. And, I mean, they just got away with murder.
You got to say, like, even though HLE are down in the dirt a little bit, there's still that star power coming up clutch with a charm as well. Crash down easy. Kael's dead. Zeka is hitting after hit.
I mean, this is... HLE are such a vibes team.
They are.
And
but ALR as well, that's what everyone was excited for in this series. It's a shame it's only a best of 3 because I feel like the vibes will only go stronger the longer this goes.
Yeah, I mean, but now we have the situation where Viper has 3 items, has that LDR in pocket. It's a very tanky Sion still. He doesn't have the IE yet, so it'll still take a lot of time to cut through, but there's a huge influx of gold for the 80 carry. The team gold is about even. It was feats of strength for HLE. They did get the Atakan buff. They're actually now ahead in gold, so... You know, I guess it worked. You just get, you know, when in doubt, just start Atakan. And I think we can say that 50% of the time, it works every time.
Every time. I mean, that 1k gold for Viper, that 1100, has accelerated. If you already talked about it, the 3rd item, and maybe in the long run, they'll say it's worth. Maybe with Baron coming up, they'll say it's worth. I mean, 3rd Dragon rather for AL. that's the next fight, it feels like, because if they give away those stats that you talked about, more stats over to Flandre, it does feel like the stall gets a little bit longer here for AL. And then that Siva maybe gets mitigated a little bit longer as well. Let's see. 3 items for her already. We mentioned Viper. I'm looking across the board. Hope's a little bit behind. 2-item Akali, 2-item Zeka here, who's got a lot of burn through things like tanks. Comes down to this next 45 seconds and setup ensuing.
Yeah, and you don't want to give any more Mountain Dragons over. And I think now is a position where HLE, more than they have for a long while, can feel confident to fight. You know, even like Peanut, who's been so far behind the curve, like he's 1-3-1 compared to Tarzan's 5-1-5, but you look at the items and not that much in it in comparison. Just component difference between the two. So the Stride Breaker picked up as well for Zeus. Able to equal things out between him and Flandre. And these fights are explosive, chaotic as well. See how the execution comes down here. Viper gonna get this mid priority. With that Savage, is able to shred through those waves.
Well, something like a Stride Breaker when there's a lot of sticking power when you're playing short range. For Zeus, we might see it in action soon as AL move themselves over a ward. A bit of poke to bully them out while Hope looks for this outer in bot side. Flandre covering mid. Baron's now up. Dragon's now up. It's a fight over objectives. It's the pincer maneuver. Delight has to crush down. Viper not going to be caught out. He spell shields, not too much, but even with the Tangle Barbs, Delight now looking to recover the fight. Peanut looking for an angle for Hanwha Life to continue the series. It comes down to this. A pop blossom for Peanut. He's isolated. He's dead. He's caught out as Flandre. Now a new target. He flashes away, but the charm doesn't connect. He's buying as much time as possible. Eventually, Orb Deception would have killed him, but he doesn't get hit. Over the wall, it's flying in. It's Tarzan hitting them all. Both junglers have now entered. Orcs, vibe check. 3 versus 3 in this fight. Flandre had to back away. He's got teleport to rejoin, and HLE are on the wrong side.
It's so scary still, and the fact that Sion's going to be able to rejoin on full HP is a big threat. Shanks is looking.
Trying to bait it out. It's only the clone. Shanks has a shuriken flip to go back to the Shroud, but HLE, even at half HP, he won't take it. On a knife swim as HLE don't start anything up in the top side. Instead, teleport's going to come through from Delight, but Dragon's being soloed by Hope.
Peanut is back up though and heading over.
Low. Flandre's going to zone control. Delight shattering strike. Hope pulls off the Dragon for now. Second skin passive. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on! Viper just walks up and takes it. Simple as you like.
The confidence of HLE.
Get off your phone! HLE are coming back, get off your phone!
HLE able just to walk in and take it away. Again, chaotic fights. It looked like AL had that one in the bag, able to pick up Peanut at the start, but the kite back was so big. The fact that Flandre survived, I thought was going to be the breaking point. They are able to start to cut through him with that LDR. But the kite back, and I think Zeka's charms, that charm he got onto Tarzan as he landed was flawless and didn't give any chance, you know. It feels like the Pantheon is so tanky if you can play around his E, but when you're CC'd before you get it off, just went down so quickly.
Cold is neck and neck. Dragon's neck and neck. Baron the only thing that stands in their way. Both junglers ran it into the enemy team. And it comes down, I keep saying it comes down to 1 fight, but it really doesn't, does it? It feels like we'll be going to the journey to Soul. As GA is soon to be picked up by Tarzan. He's got that gold advantage, so that might be the big difference maker. Seeker's here, another tool for Shanks. Orcs, I know you like talking about summoners while I'm looking through items here. Those flashes I'm seeing on AL's side at least, mostly up and available, apart from Flandre's and Kyle's.
Yep. I feel like in this one, less important,
yeah.
I feel like, for, you know, I think it's the biggest one for me is Vipers,
yeah,
if I'm going to be honest. I think Viper having sums is the biggest thing, especially when you're playing against stuff like Akali.
True.
I think he is pumping out so much damage now.
Flash.
Yeah, he does have his flash. He is the main character for HLE, you got to feel. Doesn't quite have that IE, he's going to have that soon. Once he gets that, he will just shred. And if he's able to free hit, it might just be game over for AL in these fights. But they have a lot of tools to try and get access to him. We see both teams setting up posturing around the Baron. Flandre is on that front line, but they might just look to focus him, honestly, if Zeka lands a charm.
The Tangle Barb stopped Delight from finding an engage. Flandre is able to walk it out, but the perma wave clear.
The thing is, it's not just a wave clear, but also if you stand near the wave instead of clearing it, you get shredded.
Yeah.
So it's the zoning and the wave clear.
Predict. Zeus looking for Shanks in the Shroud. Some good damage now. This Yone also starting to tickle a little bit. Peanut looking for the dive, but a control ward from Tarzan. Spots him out. Tarzan with a level lead here over enemy junglers. HLE are looking for that pick, but every time it's a clone. Tarzan zoning out while Baron is still cleared of vision, and AL have to trickle in to find themselves an angle of attack.
Honestly, so much value from the Nico just being able to scout with the clone.
Yeah, they're really good.
And just throwing it in constantly so you don't have to face check yourself. Especially as, you know, obviously Flandre is quite tanky, but even him, if he walks into a charm, he'll go down a lot faster than he would have 5 or 10 minutes ago.
Protobelt used Shanks is not overstepping his mark. There's actually pings in the alcove. Really smart from AL, spotting out what HLE want to do here. I mean, Delight on his rel has made game-making plays many times before and will many times again. Peanut clears out the last of vision from AL. Baron is still staring them in the face, but remember that dragon, it's been long enough that in a minute 45, we had that discussion again for third drag for either team.
Yeah, you know, I feel like the focus very much towards the Baron, but I'm not sure we're going to see it started up before that dragon spawns. You get the unending despair coming through from Flandre. Is very tanky. And now AL trying to find, moving in through the top side of the river, trying to find a way in. Light does not want to face check this, but we'll get the Pop Blossom thrown out. We'll sort of warn him. And it looks like a lean towards our top lane tower. Quite late for it to go down.
And these outers for
it's actually
HLE.
The first tower of the game for AL.
Isn't that crazy to survive this long?
Yeah, considering how far ahead AL were in this game, but I think just showing how much difficulty they have really taking these towers to their composition.
Yeah. As you said, the small range, fighting them a little bit here. And for AL, they do get control of this blue side of jungle, which means Baron looks a little bit easy. It's going to be started off, and Hope has great on his permanent fear. On a ward, you're right, that recall may be hurting. Zeka has to walk up. He doesn't want to TP until now.
And Delight doesn't have Smite with Spellbook. They will force them back.
Shanks on an angle as well. Flandre found out Zeka wants him, but instead Shanks has found himself onto Peanut. Cyclone captures him midway as Tarzan used the Grand Starfall to get near, but that's a couple of ultis now burned out for the fact that they found Viper.
Yeah, I mean, trying to find Peanut in that situation. The ult, though, interrupting the dash, though, I think was really critical there from Peanut. He was trying to rush over, make his way there to try and ward them off. Such a tense game, and even more so for HLE. AL have an extra chance after this. HLE do not. And they're constantly threatening this Baron. They know for the Kai'Sa with these items does shred it fast. There is a ward on it, though. They have full information off this.
But teleport's getting burned. They look towards mid. Flandre is just going to ulti in. Zeus on the way. That TP in front of a Yone. Shanks now finds him, though. Great damage as he zones him off at 5k before anyone can get in. Peanut looking for the steal. The steal. The miracle steal. It's Peanut and a Baron. It's HLE stealing it away.
And Tarzan has had Peanut's number all game, and here he slides in, takes the Baron, drops the Mapingu, and walks away to the Mountain Drake. Answers back. And he's got to feel good about that one. 6-2-5 to Tarzan, 1-4-1 to Peanut, but when it comes down that clutch moment, Peanut answers back.
It's big to get the third dragon alongside it as well. HLE moved to Soul Point, and he literally just walked in here and bonked for the Smite steal.
And, you know, you obviously can combo the damage of the Q and the Smite, but it's hard into the Pantheon, because that Q Smite with the full stacks is
huge.
It does a lot of damage. He's good at securing objectives, so just well played there from Peanut, especially when normally the person whose team is on the Baron is syncing up with the teammates. I know they were trying to sync. Oh,
there is a GA on Tarzan. Zeus has been chunked out a little bit, but Tarzan getting chunked out even more so. Great tangle bars from KL, saves the play. Tarzan and GA might have been run down as Viper's running up into Shanks, and the ricochets are tickling. More than that with an Infinity Edge here on Viper. HLE, the priority is on them for game number 2. As Shanks looks to defend that top tier 1, another tier 1 that stays standing.
Yeah, I mean, Viper's doing so much damage at this point. But do you see the Tangle Bobs? It lasts so long if it's hitting you after it's passed through a target. But they'll just shred through these towers. We do see a response from AL in the mid lane, taking that tier 1, but HLE are not stopping the top side, and they're happy to have Zeus defend mid while he does have that TP to join.
Zek also has a flanking angle onto Shanks, finds him, but no charm or deception in, but that's it. Zeka's ulti is now down, but Shanks is chunked out. That opens up for the inner turret, and with the enhanced recalls, HLE are going to call it there.
Yep, sync up the recalls together, everyone gets out. They got 2 towers on the top side. They still have time on the Baron, they can reset, head towards the bottom side of the map. and maybe look to pick up an inner tower there if they have time. But yeah, now this gold lead, it's not huge, but there is a lead in favor of HLE for about 2,000. But I think the significant thing is just at this point of the game, how strong this Sivir is. BF Sword picked up for Viper, likely going towards a Bloodthirster. He is doing insane damage. And I don't think Flandre feels too tanky anymore at this point.
That ulti down now as well. New angles open up. HLE still have themselves 33 seconds for the Baron buff too. As well as taking away all the jungle from bot. They're going to move into this inner turret, and Flandre doesn't have an ult for a re-engage. We're going to get a real little taster of what Viper does with ricochets here. Through the wave at the very least. Flandre's not going to give it to us. But inner goes down regardless with 15 seconds left on the Baron buff.
Shanks looking for a big flank, though. This could be something.
He's going to come on a ward eventually. Len's going to be spotted out, but KL's caught out before the fight can begin. Getting out with Protobelt is nice, but look at the back of the fight. Shanks now jumping in and onto Viper. He had no GA. Zayas jumping in with Peanut, but again, watch Shanks into close quarters. It's big, but Zayas is carrying the rest of it with Magnusol from Delight as well. It's a mosh pit, and AL don't seem to be liking it with Zayas running amok. He's at low HP. Shanks eventually takes him down. Hanwha alive. They played on the edge of this one, but Shanks somehow did not die. I feel like AL got away with a massacre there that HLE started to bring back.
Such a beautiful angle there from Shanks, just cleaned up Viper immediately, and without that DPS, without that damage, you know, Zeka and Zayas tried so hard but didn't have to follow through. The team fight goes in favor of AL, and this game still has more to show.
Cannot believe HLE of Zayas was frying in the middle of 5 people. When they say put the fries in the bag, like, that's a big bag. But Shanks in the end, you're right. We're going to look at a replay shortly, don't worry. Outer turret goes down, and all Outers now down on Summoner's Rift. That fight was crazy.
And I think HLE were just in a bit of a rush, right? They knew they didn't have much time left on the Baron. They're like, we want to get this tower. They didn't do the setup, they didn't do the homework, didn't have the ward coverage. And they jumped onto Kyle, and I think that was the mistake because, you know, you focus so much resources onto this Nico. The Nico wasn't the problem. The Nico wasn't a threat. There was nothing left to peel the Sakali who came around the side.
Sure.
And as soon as he reached Viper, there was just nothing Viper could do. And now Viper Flash plus going into the next fight. Yeah, just immediately deletes.
Oh, look how much time he buys.
Yeah, and that Stasis as well was so good. Would have just gone down, I think, to Zayas there without it. Oh. Like this actually did so much there.
He really did, yeah.
And it just wasn't quite enough against Shanks.
In a game that has Zeka in it, it's so funny that he's neither the Yone nor the Akali, but...
Look at the team fight damage, you know?
Tarzan, man. I'm surprised. It wasn't that much on Shanks, but he was just cleaning up.
He was just cleaning up. You know, he was just finishing off the targets. That's what he needs to do. Crazy how much Tarzan is still doing on this Pantheon.
Yeah.
This pick still holding up in the late stages. But now, setting up for this Mountain Dragon would be sold for HLE. Remember, no flash on Viper is super significant.
You're right. That barrier almost up and available to give him a bit of breathing room, but still, ulti's all that remains for now. Viper has a GA, though. Last fight, he only sat on the BF sword. Now he has everything. Delight maybe caught out as a clone. Gets between their way. Tarzan sends a spear. His Comet from afar. Shanks, his flank will be met with Zeka. Looking for him. The charm max range. Orb of Deception as well. But the damage not enough. Protobelt, wow. Already that much damage coming out of this little Akali as Flandre zoning off. He has the ulti. Delight in the way. Pantheon off, but the Pop Blossom layers down. Hope jumps in. Tarzan flies through. Shanks in the backside running in. He's going to go golden, but HLE have obliterated anyone's legend. All in the span of 10 seconds. HLE keep their dreams alive.
And that's the late game Sivir. They put AL into a blender and they take them to game 3. They just shredded them there. A 5-0. They're going to take the Nexus. And this series going all the way.
All to 3 games in Fearless. We get a treat. Our start of our quarterfinals delivers. And HLE play their comp to perfection.
That one was tense. That one was tense. You know, they finished the game with a...
Is it HLE or anyone's legend?
Just needed that bit of spice in the end.
We did. If HLE are going out, they go out with a bang. If they take out anyone's legend, they take him out with a bang. Either way.
You know, I wouldn't have put it past Zayas to bring out Kindred top. I really wouldn't have.
Yeah. Well, that Shield of Daybreak is charged up, but Delight doesn't actually get the auto attack to lock down KL as he backs off, and HLE look for deep vision here after Hope is just spotted out.
They'd actually end up going for it. I think Aware would have just been cleared out pretty quickly if they did.
Yeah.
They're trying to fake that they put a ward in that brush there. The early information is so important. You know, we always talk about Kindred and the stacks. 4 stacks is when you get that first range upgrade, and then it's every 3 after that. But that first 4 is like the biggest spike. And it's kind of like, you know, when you have Kayn and the transformation, it's not quite the same, but it's like you're half a champion before you get that first range upgrade. Like after that, more stacks is obviously nice, but really, we've seen games where Kindred's never hit those 4 stacks, and it feels, you're just an ult bot. You feel so underwhelming. So tracking those early on, seeing what Peanut can do, seeing if he gets lucky around those first spawns is going to be a big factor.
Well, I'm excited because for Peanut, as you said, it's been a rough series outside of a couple of steals and some cool team fighting moments last game, like the interrupt and the Shanks ulti as Akali. That was about it. I'm curious about top lane matchup. This is one that, like, you know, Finn would obviously probably know because Finn plays some wacky stuff.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had too much Lee Sin top. You know, Rascal was known for it in the LCK. There was a period where they were playing it a lot. I remember Cabashard was playing it a lot in the LEC a while back. There was a period where they buffed his Tempest a lot, and people were maxing E, and it was really good.
Wave clear.
Yeah, but obviously that's not how it is right now.
True. I
assume the matchup into the Xante, you're going to have some early pressure, and then like after 6, if he does go for the all-in, you can kind of just burst him with kick and the execute because he has that lower threshold health, but we will see. Obviously a lot of early power from the Lee Sin, kind of why he's picked in the jungle.
True. Sonic Wave taken there. And you can see already Zeus in a good position. Justice Punch from Zeus, or rather Zeka. As Shanks, well, flashes forward. Thinks he has kill threat, but he does not. Maybe overcooking a bit there with Shanks.
Yeah, and Zeka's going to feel good about that. And honestly, if I was Peanut right now, I would be...
hit mid.
I'd be maybe switching my mark onto a certain someone.
Yeah.
You know, flashless Rise, when you have a Galio with flash, to me that is such a signal of a free kill. To be set up later on, and Shanks feeling himself but doesn't quite calculate the damage perfectly there.
Probably like, you know, an extra Q off with Overload on top.
Yeah.
With our Spell Flux on top, I should say, sorry.
I think it's always harder to judge with Galio because he has like the damage reduction on his W that lasts a bit longer after the shield as well, and you know, the resolve defensive runes.
Lucky. Is this Peanut's first mark? It is. He high rolled. Oh, here we go. I mean, but any Kindred player, they know they're like, it's a 50-50. What side of the map am I clearing for?
Yeah.
And he got it. And Tarzan and the Pigs are coming down and probably like, oh.
You know, personally, I think they should make it so like the first Scuttle Crab always gives a mark. Like once you take one, like either Scuttle Crab gives a mark, and once you take one, the other one loses the mark, and it's no longer a coin flip. And balance him around that, because I feel like the 50-50 is just so silly.
It is.
It's so
but if it was, so you're saying the first scuttle no matter what, so if one's taken, then the mark's just diffused, it's done.
No, so like if you go top and the enemy jungler goes bot, no matter what, you just you always get a mark of that first scuttle you take.
Oh, okay, first scuttle you take. I was going to say, is Peanut makes his gank known into KL. Magical Journey taken, Delight's on top, but Peanut's going to follow up, mounting Dread. And Peanut clears for a second kill, or rather, I thought it was going to be a second mark. Flash away from Delight. He gets out, but Peanut has to flash as well. That wasn't actually a mark. Peanut had marked Tarzan previously.
Yeah, double sums, unfortunately, had marked Tarzan. It's a typical, I feel, for Kindred just to mark the enemy jungler. Hadn't switched it at that point.
It's also a bit obvious if you switch it just before the gank as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So,
oh, I wonder what that is.
I wonder where Kindred is.
Subtle, real subtle, mate. Yeah, I mean, still a kill on a Kindred, even if it isn't that extra mark, you'll absolutely take it. So, positive moves there. And we do see the swap coming through. This lands that.
And Hope is tagged out, low on mana as well with Safeguard and Iron Will. Zeus just pops him for a bit of attack speed, and Hope in a bit of trouble. The good thing in the lane swap is he can just...
Zeus just got his ult,
yeah.
right? And genuinely, if he had his ult there, might have been able to kill, because I think a little bit longer, the ult to suspend him, and then a second Q. Maybe.
Yeah.
Dangerous game played by Hope there. We'll see the play here. This is the thing with Leona into Bard is that, you know, you're quite a bulky target, right? Bard, it has a really big hitbox, and that Zenith blade quite easy to hit. So AL walks up, does get punished. Now Peanut moving on to the Dragon.
Yeah, now on this Drake as well. A bit of a success story so far as his Kindred. I mean, an early kill too.
Yeah, I mean, still a slow start in terms of marks, but getting killed, getting objectives.
I think one mark is better than none.
That is true.
You know?
Glass half full, guy. I see you are, Jake.
I am indeed. You know, top mark is Scuttle for the time being. Peanut is beelining towards it, but Tarzan's going to take it out before he gets there. Because a 2v2 might escalate in a minute 30 because Grubs are up. And Peanut already with a Phage longsword. Bit of an advantage here over Tarzan in the early game.
Yeah, definitely the start. And the thing is as well is that even if you don't have the marks from that kill, like the extra gold is going to make getting marks easier.
Yeah.
And push in that direction. Obviously though, Tarzan does have that level 6 that Cataclysm. And you know, you have targets without flash. You can potentially look for, particularly Delight level 4 with DP Ignite currently. I will say Shanks, flash coming up soon. I would have liked to see more of a proactive effort to punish that, you know? I feel like in a mobile pick like a Rise, burns Flash, and you have a Galio into it. I don't know. Personally, I think that's the sort of thing that you should punish, you should look to capitalize on. I feel like we saw a game earlier today where the Flash was burnt proactively and it was actually turned around quite effectively, and there was just repeated ganks to make things happen. Yeah,
mobile mage with no flash feels very easy to do so. But you're right, Peanut doesn't get anything in the end, and that flash is about to come back up. So at 7.5 minutes in the game, this is that one kill towards bot. It's still Peanut with a bit of a lead. It's still an early game that you can be proud of here. Next mark, though, just going to have to track it out as Grubs is spawning in 10 seconds. Tarzan is clearing up. Peanut is now level 6 as well. So both junglers have that to the table. And we're just going to have to see, because both bot lanes are still top here. And Zayas doesn't have TP available. Flandre, he does not either, so it could just be a 4v4.
Peanut not looking towards the top side, maybe the Grubs.
Timing going to be rough here. Flag down
TP
first.
is just going to be from Leona. No TP for the top laners currently, but they are trying to make something happen off this. Trying to get the Galio to move in.
Dwight does not have ulti available. AG.AL does. Tempered Fate, the advantage, misses though. So now that's down. Tried to use it with T1's own skin, but fails there as the flag and drags in. Tarzan and fighting Saga with Deadly Flourish onto Peanut, who still has his ulti available. There you go. Ulti for ulti, the Cataclysm in the shiny dome, but the Galio ult is going to save Grace as Zeka comes in. Tarzan gets out with a brisk of health. Flag and drags over the wall. He has no way out. He's on the wrong side of the rift, and Peanut gets another mark. Meanwhile, HLE are fending off the rest of the fighters. AL will not come out of this one without the Grubs, or rather, with the Grubs, but no kill.
And I think Peanut so happy that Tarzan just flag and dragged over the wall to deliver the kill to him, deliver the mark. You know, it was actually the ult from Viper that secured it, but mark goes in favor. And it is Grub advantage towards AL. We also saw Zayas move up towards the top side, so a little bit of alone time for Flandre, but I think HLE happy with the outcome overall.
And Peanut is in a great spot. Orcs SD
2 out of 4.
I see 2 out of 4, yeah. Want to be able to get that third mark that's on the left side of your screen there.
Who's he going to mark next?
I don't know.
Who would you put on?
Who would I put a mark on? Oh, I'd put it on Shanks. He lost his flash again.
You know what?
Let's do that.
That is a great call. That's what I would do too.
Okay.
We see the commit here, but it's kind of difficult because he has the ultimate. This is kind of why the Kindred's been picked in the job and ends up having to flash out. And I think Zeka did a great job of disrupting and keeping the rest of the team busy, as did Delight. And then here, I think Tarzan, you should have just given the kill over to Zayas. Because by that point, Peanut hadn't actually hit him for a while.
True.
I don't think he would have got the mark credit, so I think you should have just given it to Zayas, denied the mark. In the end.
Wait, Shanks, no, remember, no flash available, flash in, Zeka doesn't connect, but shielded around. Shanks going to stand there with the full taunt duration. Unfortunately, Peanut does not have it set over to Shanks, but it's a kill regardless.
If he'd listened to you, he'd have 3 marks.
He would have 3 marks. Yeah, 3 marks better than 2.
Yeah. Well, still a good kill, but...
Well, one is enough. One mark is enough.
Yeah, taking advantage, though, of that lack of flash on the rise. Zeka, a little bit of a miss with that initial flash.
At least he tried, you know.
He unfortunately didn't have to try too hard to be able to secure that kill.
I'm going to fight bot now, though.
Oh, it's like very aggressive. TP coming in.
Zenith Blade, Solar Flare, True Shot Barrage. There's the damage down. KAL's going to get Magical Journey, though. Nicely done. Zeka does commit the TP. That means Shanks is going to be alone and isolated for top lane. He's going to get the push in. Well, that Dragon spawns in 3 seconds. HLE will have numbers advantage.
Yeah, good Magical Journey to get them out, but at the end of the day, you still leave the area. You still sacrifice the objective. And second Dragon for HLE. It's already been an Ocean Dragon and a Cloud. They did end up getting a high-value soul here, which HLE would feel really good about.
Oh, high value. Oh, it's Infernal.
Infernal feels so good, especially with like an Ezreal, Lee Sin.
Lee Sin, yeah.
And the thing is as well, when you're playing into a Kindred as well, you know, you have that extra element of making it so tricky to smite objectives. Because you go in with a smite and he pops the ultimate, you waste your smite and then he waits for it to end before securing it. Adds an extra element of chaos when we already have 4 potential smites in this game.
Classic. Just until spellbook shenanigans, isn't it? There's Trinity Force now picked up for Peanut. This is going on. Actually, interrupt was nice from Flandre. Zeka not in trouble. It's just grasping the Undying to be farmed. And I was going to say, where the items for AL, they're still a little bit behind in this game, about 1,000 to be precise at 12 and a bit minutes. Nothing's up, so this item advantage not going to be abused yet, but HLE are definitely strong right now as we've got Thunder Sky for Zeus as well. This Lee Sin has just been farming it out in the lane, waiting for the skirmishes to come through as KAL just caught out, but he's got a Magical Journey over the wall.
Yeah, hard really to pin down some of these targets. I feel like if KAL's playing it right with the Magical Journey, can kind of disengage before the CC's layered, and you know, Jarvan also a hard target to pin down, so not finding too many picks. Although we see the light constantly sort of looking right now. Viper does just pick up the Triforce, and I feel like another situation where, you know, the Jhin, 3 items, I think, really big spike for him. I mean, the 1 item spike is nice, the Ghostblade, but 3 items is a really big one. We have to see like Ghostblade, Rapid Fire, IE. But the 2 item for the Ezreal will be a really big breaking point for HLE to play around. Because as this game gets later, a Ryze and Jhin will be a little bit hard to deal with.
They will indeed. No true tank in your team. The Leonos, that's it. As Dragon, we're far away, but we're just fighting around this area anyway. Delight instant flash away into the Zenith Blade. Tempered Fate doesn't connect, and Peanut is now hitting again, setting up for another mark. The ulti out immediately from Peanut. The Lamb's Respite going to be down just to heal up. Delight as Curtain Call is lining down, but Zeka's in the way. Really good blocking. He gets Deadly Flourished after the fact, and there is no kill in the end. KAL gets out and stops Peanut from moving to number 3.
Yep, I think AL stayed exactly as long as they wanted in that fight, and then immediately disengaged after the ult came through from Peanut.
Yeah.
A lot of poking and prodding for these 2 teams. You know, this is last game before one of them will go out of this tournament. And you can feel the tension between them, but they're still trying to find advantages, find these windows. Not for lack of trying. They've only had 3 kills in this game of 14 minutes, but both of them respecting their opposition.
All out might be used here. Flandre is getting maximum trading onto Zeus, but then again, Zeus doesn't really mind. They both are okay. Zeus actually has to kick away, even with his healing. He's worried about that further engage as Flandre, the only one up, by the way, in gold, after the laning phase is all said and done at the 14-minute mark. Yeah,
at least they're not really cutting through the Sante so well, it seems. And also the Bramble Vest kind of limiting a lot of that sustain coming through.
Who knew?
For Zeus. So
it's not the usual counter matchup.
It's not the Garen, you know.
It's not the Garen. It's not, I guess people see Renekton still as one of the good matchups. Not the Vayne top that we almost got. So, Orcs.
Yep.
Does the Lee Sin top, do we expect big engagements to happen? Like, is Herald going to be a big fight now here with it, with the TP? What do you think?
I mean, if you find an angle, you can go for it, you know. A kick onto Shanks, I hope, would be huge, but they don't really have vision. They don't have great TP wards, and it's going down so quick.
In comes Zeus, or Zeka, excuse me. Zeus no busy in the meantime in a side lane. Herald's just down. They're slowly losing the turret, but there's only one grub for HLE. It's not going down quick enough, and with teleport from Flandre to match, HLE don't get anything for the trade.
Yeah, bit of damage in the tower is all, so I think AL go for the rush on the Herald and get a reward for it. Peanut still sitting on 2 marks, hasn't really found a way to push in and take any camps away with the marks, and also he's had that mark on KAL for a while, and he's kind of played very defensively. I don't think really because of the mark, but just because generally dying in League of Legends is something you want to avoid.
It is, actually. That's good play. Sometimes there's good deaths, but most of the time we're not having good deaths, you know, like we were talking about it yesterday, right? My deaths, I try to be like him, but like I'm 0-5 on 1 and 5, and it's just no one on my team is saying that was a good death. They're saying,
the positive reinforcement.
They're saying other things to me. I'm getting negative reinforcement from my team, and I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but you know, we can't all have supportive team members, can we?
No.
One day.
You need your team just to back you up.
Yeah, where's the love?
Good death, bro. You definitely needed to die there.
Hey,
solid.
Where are my Platinum Emerald teammates to support me?
Okay, set up for Dragon now. You see Zeus at a bit of a flank angle. TP coming in from Zeka.
Okay, Zeka with ulti as well, Solar Flare. Instant flash from Shanks. Look towards the front line. Flandre has disengaged from the rest of the team. Tempered Fate, a 3-man while Delight is dying. It sets up time for AL. Zeus jumps in though with an instant burst and snap onto Shanks while KAL flashes away. It's weird from AL. They're separated and torn apart. A flip back from Flandre, good again, but AL just can't get any kills. The damage onto Zeka, isolated is good, but in the all-out and the curtain call, they need to start finding some bodies to hit the floor. Peanut with the Lambs to spite, buying time again, Deadly Flourish. He disengages, he runs back, he's getting the DPS down, but AL have stood their ground. Hope with the last, Peanut the only one alive, and they methodically pulled apart the fight there from anyone's legend.
Such a broken up fight, but really Flandre and Hope got so much value there. Felt like HLE weren't able to find the right target. Now looking for more? Or is he?
Played in. Yeah, Tarzan maybe too far forward. Peanut just wants a kill in response, but out of range. He jumps back in. KAL takes a magical journey. Hope is close to dying as well. Delight's going to do it for him, but KAL's too fast away, and he's got the cinders on the ground, so Peanut will not catch a break. Or will he catch death? I'm not sure. He's not going to go too far forward because that Shank's in the way.
Isn't Kindred the representation of death?
Yeah, but she can die too, right? Like one day, you know. Yeah.
Anyway, so the fight. So something significant here. The light starts to engage up on a Shanks who burns the flash. So Zeus is immediately like, right, no flash on Rise. I want Rise. The Tempered Fate buys time here though, so it keeps Shanks alive a lot longer than otherwise he would have, and actually means you have to commit more. And all this meantime, Hope and Flandre just pumping damage out. Yes, Hope gets engaged on, but then Flandre gets this great angle here onto Zeka, drags him out of the fight, removes an element. Hope got enough distance to pop this ultimate, and Peanut's having to block shots and pop the ult to keep them alive, and then Hope can walk up here. Everyone's come together. The bouncing grenade value is massive. I believe that's what actually finishes off Viper here, yeah.
Wow. Oh my lord. Yeah, Tabe is screaming.
As he should be. That was a great fight.
That was an insanely methodical fight, pulled apart. As you said, Flandre, 5k damage. We're at 18 minutes in that fight. And Cassandre did almost 5,000 damage. That's how long he was staying engaged for.
I thought Cassandre got nerfed. What happened?
Well, little do we know, he does true damage now.
Why is he back? You know?
He just always finds a way, doesn't he?
He's resilient.
He just keeps coming back.
Guys, maybe Lee Sin top isn't a counter to Cassandre.
Maybe the Lee Sin top is indeed not an option. Well, so far, I don't think Zeus has done much.
I mean, he did get that kick on a Shanks.
He got the kill on a Shanks. That was a nice kick.
Yeah.
But then they're also lacking a lot of damage in that fight, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Peanut's still on 2 stacks. And as I said before, without that 4 stacks, you feel so much weaker. Just a lack of range. And particularly you enter a composition where being short range into Cassandre, Jarvan, Rise isn't fun.
It's not a good thing, no.
No, it's not good. Viper also not quite at that significant spike, the 2-item spike we always talk about with Ezreal's.
Deadly Flourish. It did connect. I saw Hope just take a chunk from True Shot Barrage.
AL are posturing around Arakan, but
this has been a semi-throw this series. Arakan has not been
50% of the time it's
50% of the time it's the correct decision.
But maybe AL are just standing around it so that HLE started up.
Also, they know they're jealous, like a baby with a rattle, and they're like, oh, I want that.
I mean, Peanut attacked it. It's a compulsion. You can't help it.
Arakan is so dangerous. And they just go back to it. HLE are backing off, rather. So, for AL now, they just control vision. Maybe wait towards the next dragon, minute 30 to the start of that Infernal.
I mean, that's the thing, when the Arakan is next to the dragon, you're in a position where you just control the vision in the area, and even if you don't do the Arakan, you have it set up for the dragon in the future. Now, they are looking for this bot lane tower.
Flag is down. There's a ghost that's just popped as well.
I mean,
Hope is getting the push.
It's a Kindred, so it's hard to really dive with the ultimate. But they have cleared out the vision. Delight gets a ward over the wall.
Peanut on vision, though. On vision, he clears it out, but he's caught out. He's tempered fate. He has to kite it out, and Kyle doesn't find him. In the end, the curtain call is lighting down once again, and the fourth shot into Delight. Half HP for the support as AL are looking to take the turret with the back end of the chunk.
Yeah, a bit of poke coming through. I mean, Peanut does have a bit of sustain in the kit on the passive, but not really any options to get.
Lee in meanwhile, by the way, the realm of the realm of the realm of Kyle flashes forward. The cosmic binding was fantastic. The Cataclysm is a three-man. HLE are stuck inside. Now Flandre comes in with the Galley ulti being layered down. Zeus and Zeka are heading backhand, but Peanut, he's dropped his ult in the nick of time, but AL are all inside. It saves them more. AL still alive, and Flandre just cannot die. The Winds of War out of range, and the Soul Lanterns, while they save the back of the fight, it looks like in the end, AL stands stronger.
Such a messy fight, and so many members of AL were caught. Oh, doesn't find it.
Good sidestep upwards.
So many members of AL were caught in the AoE from Zeka, but a bit too tanky, and Flandre in particular is so hard to deal with right now. Able to cut through. We do see dragons spawning up now. Peanut's still down, but members of HLE are moving back onto the map. AL rushing over as well. We'll see who's able to set up in time. Tarzan is going to be there first.
Round two.
But Peanut is heading over, but not towards the bot side of the map.
Where's he going? His mark is not up there. He wants red buff.
Yeah, perhaps confident that they're not going to immediately start it up.
I think he's right, though, because they got vision on it. And Tarzan's taking his time to get there. He actually took Raptors in the meantime. That ward stays there. Flag's down. They now know Tarzan's on it. Okay. Red buff being pulled, and it's not a global red buff yet. It is just a singular one with a sharing element, but...
I think the decision, the call has been made. We're not fighting Dragon.
Yeah, they're leaving it.
We're missing a lot of key... missing a lot of key abilities. And he's clearing through some camps, but wants to be around in time for Arakan if they get started up. But the fights have been chaotic. I think Flandre, a bit of a main character in this game right now.
Boy, Peanut gets his own blue buff. You're right, Flandre is definitely... He's like Saitama at this point. His punches do a lot. It just depends how much he holds back. Shielded to Ram, but unstoppable. Flandre gets taunted in the end. Tempered fate for Gromp and for Zeus, or rather Zeka. The all-in, though, the kick, but it's away. It's a disengage to Hope. He'll live and saved away by the Galio ulti. Flandre in the middle, finally going to die. Is he finally going to die?
He's still alive!
Out, keeps him alive, and so does the Lamb's respite. AL's top laner just keeps thriving. Delight somehow on the backside, and the least in top didn't work, but nothing that HLE send is working at this point.
Flandre still alive through all that. The focus comes through, but they're just not able to cut through him. And now Arakan picked up by AL. Big lead opened up. The extra stats, the extra XP gonna come through, and it feels like this brick wall in the top lane. Too much of an issue for HLE to deal with. Not even sure they're gonna be able to get this tower in the mid lane. TP will deny it. And once again, would you believe, it's Flandre there.
It is Flandre.
He's a superstar this game.
He is, but all three games, I feel like Flandre's impact has been grand. You know?
I mean, I feel like Tarzan was such a big factor in the previous one.
He was, but...
I mean, I don't think Flandre hasn't been, but I think this one has just been, he is by far the main character. And so Zeus tries to find an angle here. Initially, a lot of focus put onto Zeka to get him with a Tempered Fate. Flandre gets the flick back, but then, you know, the kick attempt comes in, but it's a great flash from Hope. But look, they try and focus down the Cassante, and he just doesn't die. And eventually, they have to commit the defensive ult. And it just ends up you know, saving Flandre as well, but I think if they didn't ult, they would have just all died immediately, but, you know, doomed if you do, doomed if you don't.
I don't know what we're looking at. It was like he flashed and then did the Charleston slide or something and altered mid-flash, and so Flandre went left, then right. It was the cha-cha slide, let's call it what it is, and yeah, the damage across the board.
Look at Viper's damage.
Viper's doing a lot on
How are
Ezreal.
you doing 5.2k damage and he's still not dying? This champion's not balanced. Guys, Nif, where's Showmaker when you need him to shout out Nif Cassandra?
Oh my god, we've got another one brewing surely.
We need to copy faster back.
It's rough. I feel like AG.AL, they threw this draft up and said, hey, let's throw a spanner in the works. Call it what you will. The Lee Sin R5 pick. Sorry, it was Kindred R5. We saw the Lee Sin earlier on, obviously. It turned to be a flex. Yeah. But I don't know how much work it's doing. Peanut's caught out back of the pit. Lamb's Respite up and available. Curtain call. He's just not going to press it. He knows it's doomed. And the shots from Hope are going to get the kill and help with the Baron here. No smite available except for Delight's. Delight, if he gets a miracle still here, he's the hero of Korea right now, but with the tempered fate. Look, Flandre waits, Deadly Flush, not time, but the CC chain, the Cataclysm. AL turn for the fight instead of Baron, and they make it a sure thing, no steal in sight.
AL don't give any opportunities over. And this two-shot barrage a little bit early, unfortunately. We'll just do a bit of poke damage, but rough game right now for Peanut. Tries to find an angle over the wall to clear some vision out, I think, and unfortunately just gets trapped there. AL being ruthless with the control, and Peanut still struggling to find that 4-stack. And you know what? I talked about earlier, those games where you just never get the 4 stacks. I think this might be one of them.
I think this might be one of them. The fact he even got the 3, I don't know how that happened. Must have been from an assist in the last fight, but it's definitely not coming from any camps because they're gone.
Look, I think sometimes when you have a big goal, it can be a bit overwhelming and seem a bit impossible. So you break it down into smaller goals, right? I think the goal right now is let's get Peanut to 4 stacks for HLE. Let's focus on that.
That seems like a small goal, but I'm not sure if that's small enough.
Let's not worry about winning the game right now. Let's focus on that, because AL, they have a small goal of winning the game. That seems very doable for them.
Yeah.
Especially given how that play went. But for HLE, 4 stacks. That's all we're looking at right now. If you can do that, then we'll talk about the next step.
Okay. Well, I want to give highlights. Tarzan again, 100% KP. Kale's Bard has actually been really clean.
Yeah, a lot of impact.
And they stole the Leona for this. The Shank's going to be cleansed away, but look at the damage he's got. Machai's. Kale sent him a Magical Journey, and again, Tempered Fate safeguards him, while Delight wants to safeguard Zeka, but he ain't doing anything. Tarzan jumps into the fray while Peanut and Delight get out with a slimmer of HP, and Flandre is here again. Raid Boss returns, flip of the wrist, and an easy kill. Peanut, Lamb's Respite, but the patience from Hope. 4-shot damage. Viper is going to be joined in by a Team Realm Warp. They bring minions as well. AL are behind enemy lines, and Viper slowed down to buggery. Won't get a chance. Has to flash away. AL moments away from knocking out HLE just as they've arrived.
And AL making such a convincing case. The game that HLE won was such a struggle, but the 2 games Anyone's Legend are taking, as they're on the cusp of finishing this one, have been very convincing. HLE with a last-ditch defense to keep the hopes alive.
Peanut getting away. I think you're right, Orcs. I don't see a 4-stack inside. I see a 29, 30-minute win. Delight sent packing. Flandre doing it for him. This top lane is smurfing, and so is Kael. Time stands still, but only for Anyone's Legend as they take apart the puzzle that is the base of Hanwha Life Esports. They arrived, but soon they will depart. Quarterfinals done and dusted, and Anyone's Legend move on to the semis.
Huge win for them, you know. They were on the receiving end of 2